all know how technology is enhancing retail experience for consumers. On that note, now our third speaker, Mr. Sachin Jain, President Forevermark, would deliver sharp insights on building retail intelligence through smart technology. May we please put our hands together for the very dynamic Mr. Sachin Jain.
Thank you very much. A very good morning to everybody. At the outset, I'd like to thank Soma and Samit for inviting me and sharing my insights with this August gathering. But also, very importantly, I'd like to congratulate them for pushing this important platform on knowledge. And that's sort of seen more and more momentum. We all, as an industry, are more open to see what's happening new, how status quo can be challenged. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you sitting here. The fact is that you've taken up early morning flights, perhaps came in last night to be here, to absorb more. And I would only urge that while you've pledged your time to be here, think through this day or spend this time through the day looking at your own journey. I mean, there's a lot of reference about where you stand. And my only suggestion would be don't worry about what your best friend thinks about how the session was. I mean, go back with 2 or 3 key takeaways that you think are practically implementable in your business. And I can tell you, all of us are in different spaces in our journey. Where technology comes in, where different things that you'll hear today. But please take note of what can be implementable in your business. And that's what's valuable. Because all of us are here because of yourself. We're here to be a better businessman, a better retailer, all of those elements. But most importantly, you're here to be a better leader of the people you represent, of the organization you represent. So I urge that absorb as much from today. Now, the topic I've been given is about technology, and Shilen and Rishikesh already has set the tone as to why technology is important and everything. But I think you might sort of say why technology is important to our business, and you might say that I'm in a business of enduring value, I'm in a business of craftsmanship, I'm in a business of generations. Why is technology important? And I think a lot of it is answered about why technology is important from an intelligence point of view, because the fact is that we are not competing with one another as much. We're competing with retail as an industry. And if the retail as an industry is going through all the dynamic ways of knowing the consumer, predicting what the consumer will do, we better do it. But the other aspect is about delighting the consumer. And that's important because consumer himself or herself is changing. And that's extremely important because in a country like India, for example, by July 2020, 71% of our country will be millennial or younger. And that's a very important aspect to make. So, this terminology of millennial is not a foreign terminology anymore. This is the kind of consumer who we will sell to and our business will be built upon. And, a lot of people in my generation that I see, we've been adapters of technology. I mean, we moved from no technology to some technology to a world of technology around us. But most of these millennials and younger are natives of technology. That's around them, that's what they breathe, that's what is, in every aspect of it. So what I've done today is I've just, a couple of slides I've put on what's happening in the world of technology and retail, what's new that's coming in, and in no sense that's conclusive. It's just some indications. Then I'll move on to some things that we have practically implemented on our stores and how we envisage technology impacting our business. So some things that I would like to put in, there's a lot of impetus that we're seeing on dynamic facades of the stores. And technology is not just about LED screens. These are mostly interactive screens, how people can socially upload their images, interact with you as a brand. So this LV store at the airport of Istanbul is one example, and loads of innovations happening in that area. The Amazon Go stores are absolutely frictionless. So you walk into the stores and walk out of the stores with no need to transact in terms of giving out your credit card or anything else. But speed of change. They had 3 stores, moved to 30 stores, to 3,000 stores this year. So please understand that it's not just a small element that's going to happen. If there are 3,000 stores that happen in 1 year, the way the consumers will get used to using technology in that way is much faster. We're also seeing the whole impetus on 5G coming into our business and coming into our lives. The impact of 5G is that you'll be able to download a full movie in perhaps 5 seconds. So the speed is going to be tremendously high. That's having an impact on hardware. So how augmented reality and other things will change. And particularly in our business, where it's high value, people will like to touch and feel the products in their homes and using technology elements. So there's one Puma store that's been launched in Shanghai, and we were in Shanghai last year with some of our key partners to absorb what's happening in technology. It was mind-blowing. And after this whole coronavirus settles down, I'll urge all of you to please take a flight to Shanghai. It is, for me, I can tell you, it's the retail capital of the world. And how technology is merging with the, with brick and mortar is just unbelievable. So again, talking about this one example. So here's a man who's wanting to try some products, and that is his lookalike who's moving in the store wearing those products. So you'll see more and more, augmented reality kind of elements that will come into our business, and that's going to be real. Now, just one slide on what the values are. I mean, you see this $22 billion. Looks like a fancy number. All mining companies put together in 2019 haven't been able to touch this turnover. I mean, Pramodji, you're here. We know how we're sort of, getting to grapple to this number. All of us put together. Pranay, you're an expert. The whole number of the entire rough diamond business, perhaps this year, is under $20 billion. But you know what this $22 billion is? That's just the research and development budget of one company, that's Amazon. Just the research and development budget for 2019. So they are doing some tremendous things. A lot of it that Shivan talked about are realities. The fact that the Boopers, Copers, the fact is buy online, pick and store. Customize online, pick it up a store. All these are sciences that are developing. And we can be sort of away from it. We have to be in some way part of all this. But while we're saying importance of Amazon is going up and beyond, there's also a whole discussion about the world without Amazon. What is that Amazon can do? And I would urge all of you to look at that, because there's a whole large world of retail where Amazon cannot impact. And I think our industry can really make an important benchmark in that area. So moving further, what is it that I'm going to talk about? The importance of technology. We had Rishikesh who talked a lot about insights, intelligence, and that's quite straightforward. I mean, that's the intelligence of running a business that you can get via technology. But also importantly, the consumer delight. And why that's important is that a lot of us are family jewelers, and we say that I have one family which has been my consumer for 3 generations, 4 generations. The fact is, perhaps the new generation wants to talk to our category differently. And you need to talk to them in their manner of digital, in their manner of using technology. And I'll give you an example. Monday, which is day before yesterday, I was in Hyderabad. We had a consumer event with one of our biggest diamond retail chain partners, very esteemed partners in diamond jewelry, have been around for over 100 years. It was such an interesting day for me because as an organization, they're completely transforming their offering on physicality of technology in the store. And I'm not talking about online or Google or search. I'm talking what the consumer can do in the store. And I'll give you an example. In my previous life, I used to be in the watch business. Then I worked for Yadro. And there is one very important consumer in Hyderabad who came there. I knew her from my previous life of Yadro and watches. And she's now one of the most important consumers of Forevermark. So, of course, I know her very well. And she told me, and she told us actually, she said that she's been owning all these phenomenal things about Yadro as porcelain products, about diamonds. And she had a daughter with her. And she said, this woman who's my daughter does not want to own your category. She does not want any diamonds. She's happy without diamonds. And luckily, that lady was there. And I got chatting with her. She's a lawyer, her daughter. And I can tell you that that lady who had perhaps, had a notion of having no interest in our category, spent 2.5 hours with technology-enabled products in that store, eventually picking up 3 gifts for a friend. But you know what? The thing is that as an industry, we were perhaps not talking to her in the way she was consuming content. I mean, for her, just seeing an ad on a paper perhaps wasn't what she was looking at. For her, that touch, that involvement by usage of technology was the right answer. So I think one of the roles that technology does and will do in the future will be about having a protection of the next generation of a consumer who's coming to you anyways, but ensure that the next generation also comes to you and has a sort of connection to our category. So that's what I want to talk about in terms of consumer delight. And now I'll just touch about certain specifics in both these areas that we are doing in the world of Forevermark. We started our journey of our exclusive stores with our partners. If some of you might know our business model, we are De Beers and a brand. We work with retail partners who know retailing better, and we work with them to get to the consumer. So last 1.5 years, we've been experimenting on the concept of our exclusive stores. We have now 6 operative stores, 2 are under construction, and by end of 2020, we'll have 22 of these stores. So that's something that we're learning through. And a lot of insights that you're putting there in terms of both technology and delight, and I'll share a few of those with you. So one of the things that we've implemented in the store is what we call heat maps. And what these heat maps do is that they are scanners, and they're AI, artificial intelligence-based scanners, that we put in the stores. And by putting them, what you do is, you know exactly what's the consumer movement within your store. So you know whether it's men, women, you know what times of the day is a crowd concentrated, you know which parts of your store is the consumer hanging around, and I can see this live on time on my phone. And you can see what parts of the stores actually sales are happening. So this great amount of insight, and right now, as I said, you know, we're learning this and we're urging to sort of experiment on it, and I'm sure over a period of time, you'll be slightly more clearer in terms of what is your store doing. So when you put an ad or you put an offer, how do you place products? How do you physically use your store better? And not just based on, you know, perception that I had that my front window is important and my back window is not important. And I'm already seeing trends where things that are coming out are quite surprising. At times, a consumer where he's hanging around is perhaps not the place where he's buying. So a lot of interesting insights which are different for different stores. And it's not a technology that's hugely disavailable. It's available. You have to have a like-minded partner. But I think implementation of this will give you a lot of insights of your stores. And I know a whole lot of you have these very large format stores. So more science on that could be interesting. We also have implemented what we call smart RFID trays. Now, very interestingly, every product on the floor of our stores can be put on these trays, which talks about what these products are. But interestingly, it gives you insights of where they come from, so it's not just a price breakup. It's a bit of story about those products. But you know, insightfully, when I say intelligence, what they do is, at the back end, it tells me not the best-selling product. You know what it does? It tells me what are the products that are getting tried on but are not selling. So it's a very interesting insight we get. So when you put an analysis of products that come on the tray, but again, repeatedly are not getting sold, then you go back and see, is there a gap in terms of pricing? Is there a gap in terms of comfort or what it is? But again, more insights based on scientific technology of telling you what's happening on your merchandise. So pretty cool sort of innovation in a certain sense. But again, as I'm saying, this is nothing untouchable. It's nothing so far-fetched. It's right around the corner. But you know, if you're open to it, you must try it. The kind of insights it's giving is just phenomenal. Because it's not a perception. It's not about, you know, this product will result me to sale or not. You know what a bestsellers are. That's the easy one. But you don't know what a second bestsellers are, how you can push that category up. So pretty interesting element here. Now, we also implemented what we call smart point of sales. Now, all our point of sales are linked through the trays, through the backend, through the CRMs. So the moment a product sells at our store, it gives an indication to the merchandiser right in real time what has gotten sold in the last 1 month, 1 week, in the same price bracket what got sold. You know, should we not buy it? What time period should we buy it on? So again, intelligence on the floor about merchandising. So, you know, we all know at times when the product sells, then by the time we pick up our Excel sheet and we say, should I place an order with the manufacturer? Then the order goes to the manufacturer. By the time his product is replenished back, there's a lot of gap of sale time. And at times we've seen that loss of opportunity of your bestseller is quite a problematic one. So here is straightforward technology. It's quite linking back to how which consumer is coming through a website, through a walk-in, and you can track back your merchandising strategy very, very sharply. So again, implemented within the stores and all combined back to, you know, for example, we've also started what we call a paperless sort of economy. So consumers don't really get a physical invoice. Their invoice is sent through them through a robotic chatbot on WhatsApp straight to their phones. So pretty interesting ecologic system, which is there. It's real time. It's happening in our stores as we talk. Now, again, there was also reference that, Shalin, you made about online to offline, and I think it's such an important one because, you know, as marketeers, for us, when we say digitally advertise the brand, it's not necessarily about just putting a banner ad, somebody clicks on it, goes to the website, doesn't go to the website, you know, who knows. But I think today there's enough tools and technology available where you can track back the consumer from an online world to an offline world straight on. You can really say and target that, yes, this consumer is the person who's got into my store, and the variety of things that we use around it. And the latest innovation we have is the WhatsApp chatbot, in which consumers can engage with us, ask us questions, and do loads of things. But you can clearly track back a consumer from the online world to a real physical world. And that's becoming more and more reality. The only caveat I'll give you is at times, and I see it more and more when I work with all our partners, at times the physical stores look something, our brand looks something different, and our online platforms look completely different. And I'll urge everybody over here that, there was a reference made about omni-channel, which Jewellery and Shilin mentioned. The point is that this omni-channel world is quite real, and I would urge that you go back and ensure if your website needs to be sort of propped up so that it reflects really what your brand is. Because at times, it's not an online or offline consumer who's different. They're spending a lot of time on it together. Our research says that when a consumer of Forevermark is going into the store, she has gone online to search the category minimum 6 times. The chances are that while she's in your store, she's also looking at your website. I mean, these are things that are coming new. But I think there should be a seamlessness in terms of when you say, my brand means this, then you're truthful. I mean, you're truthful about it, that that's what your physical store is, and that's what your online world is. And it has to be quite similar. It cannot be completely disconnected. So very interesting things happening here. And of course, shareability, Instagrammability, and other social media platforms are making more and more dent, and we'll be incorporating a lot of these. Now, moving to what we did on Delight. We launched this one collection called the Tribute. Tribute was it's a stackable collection. So it's not a defined design. We felt consumers can make their own stack. So we were encouraging consumers to pick up from the 37 SKUs. They could pick up their 2, 3, 4, 5. And encouragement was that they get involved in the category and involved in the design. Now, what we did is we created these so-called Tribute kiosks that we put across our stores. And what these kiosks do, they're physically standing in the store, but a consumer inserts a hand in it, and she can make her own stack the way she likes it. There's a pricing that comes up, and while she says enter, the sales staff knows exactly what she needs and brings her stack. Now, nothing, greatly innovative, and the life won't change, but what it does is that consumers like the category. The average time that consumers then spend in the store goes from about 3 to 4 minutes to over 20, 25 minutes. And this I'm talking about pure mall sort of environments, but simple, basic technology that you can implement that gets consumers to get involved. And I mentioned to you about the lawyer of Hyderabad. That sort of consumers, which are younger consumers, love to talk to machines more than human beings. So, and I'm not saying, the good thing actually is that it's not that the world is changing in our category tomorrow morning. We are one of those lucky categories where disruption is not going to hit us tomorrow morning by a 100-kilometer train that's coming ahead of us. It's coming, but it's coming slow, and I think it gives us an opportunity to try small things. Fail, no problem, but have that mindset to start your journey at some stage. I mean, and here's one example of how you can have technology within your store to get more consumer engagement. We've started a lot of these gamification modules in the stores. We also started a lot of these training modules in the stores. And again, what they only do is, it's better storytelling. It's about having a bit of fun in the category. And again, what it does is, it gets consumers to spend more time in your store. It's just, you allow them to a place where they can explore your category more. And I would urge that not to sort of put just pictures or prints that we see as history of your own brands, but make them in an interactable way that the consumers within your stores can interact with. And I can tell you guys, a touch screen is a way of life for them. We all have migrated from a non-touch watch to a touch watch, a non-touch computer to a touch computer. They have seen this as a world. And if and you touch something, nothing is happening, they feel a bit of jinxed. And the moment you put some bit of technology, and as I said, make your starting point, maybe as simple as putting your history on a touch screen. I mean, maybe that is your starting point. But make that starting point, because younger consumers are getting more and more inclined to use this technology. That's the way they consume content. Sorry. Again, some bits of holo boxes, and again, interactive display boxes that we've implemented. Again, touch-based, amplify the whole storyline about the product. We have these now implemented in about over 100 of our stores. The fact is, it's maybe just the same display boxes, but digitally, they explored almost what the content is, what the story is. Very simple, technology is available everywhere. Grab it, make it happen. Make a starting point. Because again, this doesn't change the big dynamics. So sales won't turn around to 200% tomorrow morning, but you'll get more and more consumers interested in what you're offering, and more younger customers will be interested in what you're offering. And lastly, that's something that we're launching at our forum, which is happening in July. Face recognition, voice recognition are the keys of the future. We started the face recognition bit by iPhone 10. It's already a passé. Today, face recognition is available for every conference entry. So it's become that simple and easy. And this will really play on in the next phase of what I say is a change and disruption. There's a lot of work happening there. And this is a tool that we're building, which is, what we're doing is that when you see the store facade, and you have today, let's say, a print of or a digital screen of one product. What it does today is a consumer comes in, she sees your brand content, the way you put it, and it's static. Now, what this will do, starting July in our stores, is that based on AI, the screen will look at you, who you are, it'll recognize you if you're a regular consumer and invite you with your name. It'll recognize you if you're a couple. It can also recognize your emotional quotient, whether you're happy, sad, is there love in the air, is there no love in the air, whatever, and throw content that's suitable for you today, right now, right then, so that your content could be different than mine when I go in front of the store. So it's dynamic content based on how you get a consumer in and sort of cater to a personalized content to that consumer. So that's the new phase of how technology will change the way our static screens outside the store will talk to consumers. And again, it's again not highly capital intensive. It's just innovation that is in 3 years' time will become regular to every retailer or every retail category. But I only urge that we, as the gems and jewelry category, shouldn't be the last one to adapt it. We should be perhaps the front runners to adapt this sort of technology. But pretty cool. When you look at it, if you go there as two friends, it gives you different content. When you go there as a couple, it gives you different content. When you go there with a daughter, it gives you different content. But technology today, is so sharp that it can identify who you are and throw the content accordingly. So I'll just give you some insights of how our stores currently look like. So, sorry, just the last bit is on, we keep hearing about sustainability and the consumer's interest about where the product is coming from. And here's an example of this milk company in Europe, in UK, was actually the equivalent of Amul in India. It was that large. And this 2019, they've gone bankrupt because they could not have an ecosystem where they could trace back where the product is coming from. It's coming quite fast. Consumers are wanting to know where my grain is coming from, where is that organic grain coming from, where is my garment cloth coming from, is the brand sustainable or not. I mean, these are words that we keep hearing. But what do we need to do as an industry? I think first and foremost, we need to be on top of where your product is coming from. There's great efforts that GJPC is doing in terms of helping you track where your product is coming from. There's great technology insights like Tracer, where in 2 years' time, every Diamond 1 Carat Plus can have the entire journey from the rough to the polish. As Forevermark, we give that promise of the entire journey from rough to mine to finger in terms of where the product is coming from. But sustainability and knowing where your product history lies is going to be the pretext for the next coming generation. So, again, when things like blockchain, somebody comes and talks to you, blockchain, I'm sure the industry, a lot of leaders will be, unleashing this in the coming years. I urge, accept it with open arms, because consumers are moving in that direction. They will want to know where your product is coming from. They will want to consume brands and products that have helped the society overall. And these are just some bits of technology that, it's not a part of retail, but it's a part of your thought when you build a future of your organization, that you need to be on top of clearly knowing where your product is coming from, and hence a consumer can be confident of where it's coming from. And there's a whole lot of gambit of things that are happening there. There was a time that it was kind of more exclusive, only certain people could do it. Today, if you have the willingness and you go back to your manufacturer, I'm certain they will give you some way by which you can talk to a consumer more confidently of what your product is and stand behind that product. Consumers want that confidence. It's not in the air. It's about, one, believing it and then making it happen. There's one saying which says that we used to hear, seeing is to believe it. Today, I think it's about believing it to see it. And if you have a belief that you can make it happen, if you believe that you can get from point A to point B, seeing will happen. The product or things will happen, but first believe in it. So the thing is, all that I urge here again is that believe in a slightly different world tomorrow, because it's coming. Believe that consumers will consume a category slightly different. We are really lucky that disruption is not hitting us like this, but make a start, make those small steps. And I'll end by one of these are just some of our pictures. These are the exclusive stores. But when you look at these stores, it's not overpowering technology here. They're generally jewelry stores. I mean, they're how jewelers, how consumers come and buy jewelry, but it's understated technology in it. There's loads of fun elements in it. There's the average time that we're seeing in our standalone stores where consumers are coming and spending time is more and more. But again, a group of technology, see your starting point and make it happen. And we're also launching what we call is our flagship stores. We'll be opening 2 of these in 2020. The objective of these is to really upscale the game of luxury and the experience of what diamonds is. So this is something that we're coming out. Again, looks non-technological, but I can tell you it's technology in every nook and corner of it. So what we don't want is that our jewelry store start looking like an Apple store. That's what we don't want. We're not even, I don't think that's even a recommendation. But technology for the purpose of it has to be there. Technology for the purpose of it in terms of engagement will only help you grow your business. So to end, I'll just say what Mr. Jeff Bezos said, and he's the richest man in the world today, but also owns the most valuable company. And in retail, we used to talk about 3 things, that's location, location, location. But today in consumer business, which also includes retail, it's about technology, technology, technology. But find your own starting point and get started. So that's what I would have to say. I wish you all the best. Absorb, as I said, from this day. Pick up that 1 or 2 learnings, but go back and implement them. Because if you don't implement them in the next 1 week, they'll remain in the memory for 2 weeks. Then you'll say, yeah, Samit, your platform was good. Yes, we'll come next year. But I think the key is pick up that one thing today. Give that challenge to yourself that you go back and implement that small change. Thank you very much, guys. And I'll be around, be here. If there's any input I can give you, I'll be very happy to. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sachin. We look forward to more of Forevermark showrooms across the country with the latest technology.
Thank you very much.
And I must say, well, ladies and gentlemen, that it truly is an exciting proposition for both the consumers and the retailers. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let us all once again give this enterprising gentleman a loud round of applause. And please let us invite Darpan Anand. Sir, please be with us. Okay. Darpan Anand of Punjab Retail to kindly do the honors of presenting a memento to Mr. Sachin Jain, please. Thank you, dear sir.
Thank you. Hey, Darpan.
Thank you, Mr. Darpan.
Thank you.
We can continue with our applauses, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you, Darpan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sachin.